Good morning. All right, starting with SPX today. I think this is the first day I'm looking at this and thinking there isn't much advantage here. As far as getting far away, the spiders are about here right now. Just comparing the different resistance and support levels. Last the spiders were about to that high. Let's just go back and line this up. So 385, right? 385 is right there. As I said, that high. And so assuming it's going to open up there, could go up to the next pivot high there, and above there, there's nothing. Right. So next step is look at those premiums. We certainly don't want to be next to that first thing in the morning. We don't have enough information to determine whether it'll fail there or not. So 3860. Yeah, there's plenty of juice at 3860, but you're getting that close. Big risk, huge risk, huge reward. So if we were to say, hey, what do you think about 3,900, which I'm not so confident about 3,900, if this thing holds up here, that it can't get up to 3,900. The question is, by the end of the day, can it hold that level? And I would think not. That's a thought, right? Not a guarantee or a fact for sure. And so 3,900 is some juice there, and there's a pretty big open interest at that level. And this gets getting kind of spready. So these things, they're jiggling around there. I'm just looking. So I'm not so comfortable, but 3,900 to 3,905, which there isn't a lot premium there, and going like 3,895. It's not within my risk tolerance. It's right around here. So I don't like it. I'll see how things develop a little later. And on the downside, I'm just looking at where there's some premium, 3765. I'm not very comfortable at 3765. I mean, it's up here, but it's one of those mornings. I know there's this pivot low here, and it's up here. So buyers might show up there, but if I could see it come down there and a reaction, yes, time will evaporate at that point. But so I'm not so enthusiastic until I see some price action here. Let's see what McGraw is posting here. $3,600, yeah, any day, 3,600. That there's no premium there, and sure, who wouldn't want to go there? 3810. You're asking for trouble. This guy writes a whole lot, but what is he saying? Anyway. Yeah, 3770. I'm not comfortable there. I mean, it's up here. It may jiggle around and hold, but if selling does pick up, it'll slice through 3770 like it's not there. And anyway, we'll see what today brings. He's saying watch the VIX. Why not watch the SPX? Anyway, everybody's got their own method. The tail wagging the dog, or the other way around. Okay, futures. And a little bit of a turn. Here's the resistance level right up here where it's jiggling around. So I want to see what happens here. Right? You can see it continues to get rejected up in this area, whether it begins to drop. And now this level here starts to become a pretty significant short-term reference point where, well, we get start another rejection here while the market's open. Oh, maybe SPX makes sense to get a little closer down here. We'll see. And which opens up the door to this low here, right? And a potential trading range after, the wild price action that occurred. So we'll gather a little bit more information here. Things are a little erratic. We look at, people look, oh, look, YM's up 300 points. Well, look at the chart. Did something significant happen versus the downdraft that occurred last week? Not really. S&P's here still in the lower half, but let's see where the Dow is. That's where the real wild action was. That big bottoming tail bar, and then the wide range breakout, and then the complete failure. All right, so we have the NASDAQ getting above this level right there. Next resistance is up here. We had a pretty deep retracement back. So this is one of the things, as part of our factory work and how we interpret price action. This was a resting period. Created a pivot low. This was a momentum move up. Great. It creates support. And then it breaks out with a wide range bar. Consolidation at the top. Let's go, baby. Take it up to the next level. Nope. Came all the way back down. So now we have an upside shakeout or breakout failure. So the inability to move back up, which is what we're beginning to see here, the topping tail. See what happened here? Sellers stepped up as soon as it tried to pop up. This is how Head and Shoulders tops form, and call it whatever you want. It was a shock pattern here where it was acting bullishly. It broke out as traders saw that pattern and they bought. It was the right thing to do. And when it started going sideways, they started, remember what happened last week? I'm not so sure this thing can go up there. Now down it came. And so erratic price action. And that hit the 50. And maybe that had something to do with it. We look at different reference points. There's nothing to the left, but nonetheless, it's a reference point that's widely followed. You can see this is forming or has formed already a type of a Head and Shoulders pattern. Now, whether this becomes a little bit more complex type of a Head and Shoulders, where this comes up here or not, right, you've got a pretty significant line in the sand here. And what happened here with this breakout and coming back in, it's just a different variation of this. Right? It just can happen in different ways. And as we advance in our knowledge of patterns, we begin to understand that different pictures or variations, as I said, have the same meaning, meaning it went up, it looked good, it was supposed to keep going up, and it didn't. So regardless of what it looks like, the meaning is the same. When you start thinking that way, you start thinking in a more of a master trader level versus indicators and haram eyes and dark cloud covers and names that are meaningless. All right, the Dow. That was wild. Last week I talked about the fact that all these tails, it was still going sideways. And then we had the range expansion one that broke the lows. That's a continuation pattern. And it continued strongly. And it came all the way back down. I don't remember the last time I saw something like that. But markets do what they do. Kind of crazy. So up 300 points, big deal. Right? It's the start of the day. It's coming up to some resistance there. And let's just drag this down here. as our level down at the 50 MA. It's got a void, so we'll just see how far this can get. The neckline, asking me in YouTube, yes, the neckline is support. It's just another name for support related to that pattern. So the idea of the neckline breaking means that it violated support. So it hasn't done that yet. Let's see. It's easy enough to see what has already happened. The analysis is telling us what is. And then we have reference points to determine, well, what is a significant level? So if we look at the daily chart, this is a significant level on the Russell. Bottoming tail. Really not a bottoming tail. It's a neutral because the body's in the middle, but it's got a tail on the bottom and a tail on the top. It retested this area and held. So that's a significant level. There's nothing here to stop it from going up other than resistance being created. And so wide range bars are a power bar. They suggest a continuation lower. But I refer to them as the weakest link in the chart because their momentum moves. So we don't know what the Russell will do here. And it's coming into this support level that in reality it should not have come to because of the momentum move. It should have went sideways and up if it was truly strong demand. But now it's back down here where buyers are stepping up again. So now you've got a little new resistance area here, the pivot high that was created. So things are pretty tight. And I'll wait, see how things develop here. This morning, buyers are stepping up here a little bit. You know, scalpers will give that a shot, of course. Nothing wrong with that. See how far it gets. Bonds, right? They're down here at this level that we've talked about for a few months. You know, TBT accelerated. It got the blame for the market correcting, interest rates going up, which they've been going up for 2 months already. All of a sudden, a little bit more, and caught the attention. And so down it came. It looks like I don't know. I would target down here, the 20 MA. There's an unfilled gap. That would be about a normal pullback with this advance. So we'll keep an eye on that. And there's the contract change that's not filling in. So oil's had a hell of a move. And it's coming up to this resistance area there. So odds are that's going to stall. And you see it poked up here and it's retracing back down to the wide range bar, the breakout bar. So a little failure action going on there. Normal. We look to the left and it's at a resistance area. It's had a big run. Would make sense for it to stall. Gold broken. All right. Fell below that level. I guess 1700 will be the next stopping point. We'll see if it gets down there. Now, the way we interpret things, you can see it's making lower highs and lower lows now on the weekly chart. But this is the major support point. Now, it should never have gotten down there after this move, but this is another example of a momentum move and a void being created. Now, it can make a lower high and a lower low. And it's supposed to pop back up. It didn't do that. And so where it looked like it could turn around, well, it didn't. So, I mean, we stayed away, no harm done. But I thought based on the monthly chart, this thing could get turned around, and it just didn't happen. And silver fell apart too, where it looked great. Still not as bad as gold, but here with this bottoming tail range expansion bar, it looked amazing. And so now it's back to the bottoming tail bar. So maybe a little accumulation there. I'm not going to. I'm just going to see how this all shapes up. And transports still look good, breakout and coming back in. And sentiment is still bearish, Jake. See if I can find the chart. I think it's Pro, Pat, Pro. Here we go. Here we go. So breadth came down to a bullish level last week. And I wrote in the letter, right, typically you get some kind of a bounce. Well, it is on the 50. We'll see how far it bounces. But sentiment is staying up here. And one of the things I showed in the letter is historically, what is a bullish and bearish level? Well, point eight is a bearish level historically. These bands I created years ago to adjust for markets just like this. Historically, what's a bullish level? 1.2. It hasn't seen that in a long time. So it continues to be bearish. The markets continue to hold up. Here's where we got the sell signal, where they aligned, and we've got this corrective pattern, and we'll see if this is enough as things develop later this week. All yours, Dan.
Good morning. Yeah, Greg, we'll leave that there a second. Your chart, well, I'll leave it here. But see that W bottom in late January on breadth? And we were talking about this, and I'm like, and I know we say, hey, they have to be in an agreement. And I was saying, well, I think this kind of takes precedence to get a double bottom way the heck down here. And look at that amazing bounce that happened. So it's kind of like you're saying here, hey, we're at this extreme and we got a nice little bounce here pre-market. We wrote in the letter that with the House passing the stimulus, I don't know why they did that at 2 o'clock in the morning on Saturday. That was kind of, I guess, more political games.
Because they're criminals, Dan.
Don't get me started. So what else? Yeah, so that and J&J, I think, are the two impetus, and in that breadth that we just showed you. But it cracks me up how the people on CNBC get hired to type in the little lower thirds on the TV. And it's all over the TV today. Oh, sentiment up, market up because yields are falling. Okay, they did fall Friday, but McFly, they're up this morning. So why are you saying that's why the market's up? That's why we just have our approach, and we don't care about news, and we trade what we see. All right, this actually though is our only open. We have a put spread on TLT, which gapping down here, but that's fine. It's under the low to 138. So we still got $3 a cushion for Friday, and we have all bullish positions in the swing advisory. Not as much inventory as usual, which is totally fine. And in the letter, we gave a lot of plays, both long and short. And not a single one of the short alarms are going off, which is fine. That's why I'm fine with them. If they trigger with this big market gap up, then they're weak. And we have a number of put spreads, not ANSS. Where are you? APPS. This is, remember when we do the MT live about the turn? That's what this trade was. So we have a way out of the money $65 put spread that triggered on Friday. So that's a beautiful setup right there. And now look at it, 89 bucks, getting a beautiful gap. So we're going to tighten the stop there. Let's see, Thomas asking about, or Jose, Disney, Neo. Disney, it's sloppy, maybe day trade. It came in kind of hard, but it's in an uptrend and bottoming tail at 20. We have the Dow 30, all 30 stocks are lit up green. So definite bullish gap here. Neo gapping up 48.51. maybe day trade, but I day trade 30-minute high, but it's not a swing pattern at all. I posted, since the Qs are more oversold from the high to last week's low. This is the one I like for a put spread if it can take out 30-minute high. We'll see what it does here. I'm not going to be rushing into anything. I posted Walmart as a bull put credit spread idea. It's gapping over Friday's high. It's extended. And look over here. It's a nice August low. So that one looks good. 30-minute high. Let me continue. Diego, plug, and Buru. Plug. No pattern on the daily. It's a big gap. Nah, I'm not crazy about that. Gapping a resistance. On Baru, this one's better, much better for a new trade. You got wide range igniting, you got a pullback, you got a bullish gap, 1582. So this one is much better as a day trade. I'll keep an eye on that. And look at our rocket here, bottom right. Here's another one we sold puts on Friday that we said we would take the stock. Look at this multi-month bottoming pattern. That looks good. Yeah, Starbucks I gave is over the target. Yeah, we'll wait 5 minutes, but yeah, I said this one was okay. We're going to sell a put spread over the closing price, 108.03, and the reason I said that was it's just a partial defense if the market was going to have an ugly gap down, which we had no idea what it was going to do when we made our weekend low. I have an alarm here going off on ADS. I see one print up here, so this one will definitely wait, but this one's that's a bullish bear sandwich continuation. Yeah, I got Buru right here. Yeah, I got Buru with Diego in this middle chart here. So yeah, I was already stalking that one. Citigroup, new CEO, 6840, but no pattern right now. OTRK, that's continued bearishness. Wow, that's a big gap, $34. I wonder if that's a bio. Hey, Austin, Whiskey's another one that I said we're going to sell an out of the money put. But this one you don't need to wait because I said do it around closing price. So we're going to have a hard enough time with time decay of getting that closing price. So in fact, it's probably only going to get filled on a little retracement. Logi earnings, I think, gap and go. 107. Bearish gap, but no pattern. XLU with rising interest rates, utilities have been getting whacked here. There was a bullish article in Barron's though, and maybe that's part of the reason, or just getting extended. But I still have no interest in utilities. Can't tell where you're gapping. These are a couple of earnings stocks, no volume. Workhorse, no, that thing got beat up. That was the postal contract one. This bottom fishing, you had a small gap reversal at the low. I think fold those therapeutics, but that could be just a little bottom fishing day trade. NRG 4090, that's a very bullish gap. That's a bullish gap over last week's high. We'll come back to that. NOG, 1370. There's no pattern. You're trading into a 180 reversal there, so it needs time to heal. Same with this. They're in uptrends, daily, weekly, monthly, but there's just no compelling daily pattern. Mid, let's see one print up there at 150, but it's, I don't like the way it trades, but it's bullish, daily, weekly, monthly. X-ray, 58 bucks. Gap's too big. It's bullish, but gap's too big. CSIQ. This one's not bad. If it can get over Thursday's high, which it looks like it's right there almost. Thursday's high, making the turn on support. Maybe do a put spread. It's a solar stock. TAN is damaged weekly, monthly, but it daily looks like maybe a short-term bounce. So J&J, bullish gap with its news. Anything red here is relative weakness. So I picked up Airbnb here, selling off. And there's no pattern, but it's a mess. RCL is down on they're going to do a secondary offering, which I think they should do. Spiders, IWM, Qs, all new highs right here, pre-market, minute to go. Bulls are in control for the morning so far. But the other cruise ships and jets are gapping up. It's more of the reopening thing. Good news because of good news J&J. So that's the whole reopening story again. The RH alarm. Wow, tick 1800, Greg. What do you show? Man, that's a big tick. All right, so DRH is gapping over our entry, so 5-minute high. Yeah, I just rounded up. It's, sometimes you feel like you got to get caught in this enthusiasm. You see it gapping up and going, but is it really a recipe for a gap and go day? So I'm going to be patient. All right, so DRH. Through here, we were watching that as a possible monthly core. It's a bottoming pattern. Too bad the daily came in ugly. Apple totally neutral here. Amazon sloppy, 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 but it's at the 200 there. Possibly put spread 30-minute high. Google, it's a mess. Tesla, mess. Apple, things are messy. Look at this chart on Facebook. If you told me this was normal behavior, that's how charts looked, I'd be like, I might want to apply to be a boat captain. That is just a big old mess. And Groupon, yeah, that had a big range expansion bar on Friday. Has room to 50, low 50s. Tobago, WMT, 30-minute high, I still like. RCII gapped over the entry, so the question is 5-minute high okay, or is now that too far away? Yeah, it's $1.50 over our entry. I think I'm gonna hold off. We can watch it in the gap fill. It's not, it's not, it's not great, Matul, because you have that gap reversal, but it's very relative weakness today. I could zoom in. I had this